Hey team, welcome back to my channel. The source code for this video is available on my GitHub account. Look at github.com, Software Nuggets, Rust projects. Our program begins and I create 3 hash maps. Notice different styles. Now, once we have our variables created, then we can insert data. And notice it is key value. So here you can say we have Robin, that's going to go into the key, and 95 will go into the value. Now to get the capacity, notice that we just call the method capacity. When we're trying to get the length is the number of elements that is inside of the hash map. And you can see each of them has 1. And then to actually get the value at the key, get the key. So these are our key names. Notice Robin, Baron, Jason, who was commented out, does not actually exist, and Nicole. In this example, we're going to look at updating a value in a hash map. Now we begin with grades 1. Notice key value, a string and an integer. Then we're going to insert Robin as the key and the value 95 as the value. Then I'm going to print that out. You can see that output over here. Then we're going to do something magical. We're going to say check if Robin exists in grades 1, and if it does, let's update it. This conditional checking, what it does is it checks to see that the key exists before we do an update. Now this will prevent any runtime error. Let's use the get method and get the value of Robin and assign it to original value. Now, if that has a value, then what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and do an insert, Robin at 98. Remember, we're always going to go back to key value. Robin has to be unique. So the only thing that we will do to this hash map is do the insert statement. And notice we're changing the value to 98. Now I preserved the original value, which was 95, and then I'll be using grades 1, Robin. That gets me the value. You can see the output here, original value 95, updated value 98. In this example, we will remove a student from our hash map. Let us look at remove students. Notice we have 2 parameters, grades and student. Means we're passing in a mutable reference, allowing this function to modify the original hash map. And then student is nothing more than the name of the student, the key that we want to remove. Now, if grades contains that student, then we will remove that student and provide a message that we've done so. Else, we didn't do it. So from main, notice that we create a hash map. We populate it with 4 students. And then I show you the initial grades, and you can see that over here from Nicole down to Robin. And then we're going to attempt to remove that student. So notice here on line 38, ampersand mute grades, we're going to try to remove Baron. Baron is in there. Remember, ampersand mute, it passes a mutable reference, which allows that function to modify this hash map. Now notice on our next example, we're going to try to remove Pedro. Now Pedro is not in our list. So that will of course come out and say Pedro was not found in grades. And then we will loop over grades again and show the contents thereof. You can see the output in this window here. First, we have our import statements. Next, we define a custom error type. This creates a new struct called grade error. Starting at line 11, we implement 2 traits for our grade error. The display trait allows us to format our error message as strings. The error trait marks grade error as an error type. As you can see on line 20, we have our first function. This function, getGrade, takes a reference to our grades hash map and a student name. It returns a result, which can either be a I32, the grade, or an grade error. We use the get method to look up the grade, copy it, and return an error if the student isn't found. The second function, starting on line 27, This takes in a mutable reference to the grades hash map, a student name, and a new grade. It checks to see if the grade is valid, returns an error if it is not, and updates the grade if it is. On line 36, we begin the main function. Notice we declare a variable grades of type HashMap, and then we insert two key value records. Let's take a look at the match expression on line 42. Now, match is a control flow construct in Rust. It's similar to the switch statement in other programming language, but more powerful. It allows you to compare a value against a series of patterns and execute code based on the pattern matches. Let's now look at our first match expression. Now notice what we're calling getGrade. Now getGrade's function is returning a result. Now a result is an enum, and it has two variants, OK and error. So notice if it does find the user, we get OK and the grade, and we say Alice grade is grade. Now if that fails, we have error, and then we just print out a line that says error with the error value. Now that you understand our first match expression, look at expression 2. I'm going for Charlie. Notice Charlie is not in my set. So what would the return value of the function getGrades get? Well, it's going to return grade error. Now grade error would come down to error, and then I get the error there. And you can see over here in the results error, no grade was found for the student Charlie. On line 55, we have another match expression. Notice update grade. When we call update grade, we want to make sure the grade is between 0 and less than 100. But if it's before that and after that, we are going to return an error code. Now, if it is good, we're going to come down there and insert that into students. Remember, whatever student is has to be unique, and this insert statement is actually going to do an update. Hope that makes sense. So here we can see that Bob has got 80. It will be updated to 85. Successfully updated Bob. Look over here. Successfully updated Bob's grade. And now let's look at our last match expression. Notice update grade. We're going to send in Alice of 120. Well, we know from our function 120 is outside the boundaries of an acceptable grade. Here we're going to return ERR with the error. Now notice here, not OK, but error, and then we're going to get the error. And the error is invalid grade 120. Grade must be between 0 and 100. Now we built that error message up here in the function update grade. Hopefully that makes sense. And then at the very bottom, on line 67, we have a variable grades of type HashMap. Now let's print out the final grades using the println bang macro. Notice the output in the output window. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please leave them below in the comment section. Once again, here's the source code in my GitHub account. Look forward to seeing you back in my next video. Take care.